Steve, you said you thought out. You thawed out completely. You've thawed. What is the proper?
Thawed, Thawed,
Okay.
right? Like this, it's warmer now. Yeah, didn't take that long. Like I had tested it the day before.
Oh, right. You went to the women's game.
Yeah. So no, yes, all good.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're all thawed.
But you had like 53 combined degrees or 54 combined
I
degrees.
I think that's about what it shook out to be. Yeah, 53 combined degrees.
About what it shook. Didn't you do the math?
At puck drop of the Lightning game, it was 42 degrees, I think is what they said it was. And I at one point saw 11. I'm going to go with 11 on Saturday.
Okay. So 53. Okay.
Also thawed it out. Welcome to the podcast where you learn about the past tense of the word thaw. It's called Stuff Summer Says with
Steve.
We have a lot to talk about. We are recording on Wednesday in part because I was in Tampa for outdoor hockey weekend spectacular extravaganza. And then some news broke today, which I think we will briefly to just alert you to, I guess. We don't really have much more information than what's out there. And we will spend most of the time talking about the outdoor hockey game, and we can talk about games if you want. Then Penn State football got their schedule last week. I have some thoughts there around the rollout of said schedule.
Okay.
And then we will. These have been sitting on my desk for about 3 weeks now. They are Cael Sanderson's Cael's Cookies, a 6-pack box of them. A nice little letter.
They were shipped in that box?
Yeah, they were shipped in that box.
Well, I'm just saying, because the stickers over top of the little branding on the front, which is kind of a disappointment.
Which is kind of annoying. However, we will. I will taste test one of these live on air while previously recorded.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Live to tape.
That's right. Okay. That's today's show. That's how it's going to go. Let's start with the outdoor hockey game on Saturday. I wrote this, I said this, I believe this, and I didn't believe this, or I didn't even think that this could happen going into Saturday. I genuinely believe that Saturday will change the sport of hockey in the state of Pennsylvania. I believe it will change Penn State hockey. I think Saturday was the most monumental day for hockey in the state of Pennsylvania ever. I think there will be dozens and dozens of kids that were at that game that have never played hockey, never skated before, that would be begging their parents to go skate. I think that people will tune in much more frequently to Penn State hockey now because they got to experience that and what an awesome experience that was. I think that Penn State hockey, in the way we talked about this being an era of expectations, will, as we kind of planned, I think, those expectations will kind of start to roll out to a bunch of other people. I think, above all, I just think that Saturday was the most important day for the sport of hockey in the state of Pennsylvania, and that includes the 5 Stanley Cup championships that the Penguins have won.
Yeah, that feels strong. Because, there was a big building boom of facilities in Western Pennsylvania.
Right.
After Lemieux came to the Penguins and they were successul.
But that wasn't a singular day, right? Like that was over time. And I mean, even that's how I got to an arena in Altoona. Right?
Okay.
You can statistically prove that. I think we will look back at Saturday being this boom event that was we can put our finger directly on. I know it's hot.
I'll play along because
I know
you got the name on the show, but I think drawing that line in 10 years is going to be hard. Like I think drawing a straight line to it because that's an impressive take, and maybe were there that many young kids there?
But even if they weren't there, right?
You just said they were there and they saw it.
No. But even if they weren't there. This was the talk of all of social media on Saturday. It was a major sporting event in the country on Saturday.
Yeah, and then Penn State's social numbers did reflect that, right? Like they did, yes. The girl that took the photo had like 40,000 views on her photo.
Yeah, and I don't know about the TV numbers. I don't know if they released them. Maybe we'll reach out to the Big Ten and ask. I'm gonna write that down for something to do.
They'll share it if it's good. I mean, we'll see it.
It
Next year,
had
so
to
if
have
it's
been
good.
the most watched hockey game on BTN,
Yeah, but that's
which
hockey
isn't
numbers
a
aren't
lot,
super
but
strong.
it's still something.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fair. No, I'll play along. I think there's a lot that's going to have to make that snowball pick up and get bigger down the hill. But sure, why not?
Okay, all right,
sure.
That's where I want to. At least we'll begin there.
No, because I think there's so many positives about it. I mean, I know I was, my typically grumpy self, but there are so many positives about that. It happened is huge. That they pulled it off is huge. We had friends that came to the house afterward, and she reminded me, oh, you didn't think this was going to do, and in the summer when they did it, I'm like, oh yeah, they get 6,000 people per game. God, if they get 10 times more, that's 60,000. They aren't going to get 10 times more. Turns out I was wrong. They did get more than 10 times more. So yeah, from that, from concept to rollout, really impressive. And my struggles were nitpicks, about serving the fans, and then I think there is improvement there, and I think there should be improvement there when the time comes for next events.
Let's stay with the it worked factor, because I think that was an important part of Saturday, in that if Penn State ever wants to host an NHL outdoor game, which I think is the intention still, and I don't think it's going to be a Winter Classic, just because of the tight turnaround you potentially face with up against the college football playoff, like potentially that turnaround of basically a week to build the rink and all of that. I think Saturday was the test for the Stadium Series, something that they can take to the NHL and say, we did this without your help. Imagine what we can do with your help. Who, after Sunday, I mean, they put on a phenomenal show and built an ice rink in the state of Florida outside, truly outside, and did a great job with that. Like, I think that was the biggest takeaway for me, is that this concept that all of the excuses that even Joe Ba was alluding to when he was on the podcast last week, like all of the excuses, that they just shot them in the foot. Like they just destroyed every single excuse. There are no excuses anymore to not do this. And I think that was the most important, impressive part of this from the Darian and Steve sports business aspect.
What were the differences between the games in terms of, and I know you didn't see it all because you were just down for the game, but in terms of activation and stuff that's around the event? Like, because I think that would be the next level for Penn State, is do you have the ability to do that stuff around it?
So I think this is what is interesting. In outside of the stadium, which if you've ever been to Ray J, it's pretty much just a bunch of old sandy lots. On one side was where the old sombrero is, and the other side is just basically, because it's right next to the runway, there's not really much around it. For Tampa's airport, there on the one side there was the parking, the other side was some parking, but then they had a fan fest, and at the fan fest they had various activations, not too dissimilar, but maybe not to the same extent of what you see on what would be Curtin before a game, before a football game, with like Duncan and Highmark and all of those brands, just a little bit maybe more extreme. Then there was a concert out there with kind of more house bands and local bands of that type of nature. That was immediately in the area. I know that they had some other events going on at the stadium, like leading up to it, for like they had like a women in sports like talk convention type thing going on in downtown Tampa, which we went on, what would it have been, Monday. There's banners, they take over the Marriott and put giant banners of the players in front of the Marriott. But to me, like there was the hospitality aspect of it, but there was a lot of things that the NHL or that was not too dissimilar from what Penn State does for college football Saturday, which would be an event of the same magnitude in terms of people.
Right. Well, and that's why, Penn State will finish the stadium, and nothing NHL wise happens before that because you don't have the premium seating.
Right.
You don't have the places to upcharge people. I understand that. I'm sure I'm underestimating how much work went into this from the Penn State side of it. And there's a part of me, I know people say, oh, it's not going to happen again. And people have reported, well, they're not going to do it without doing the NHL. It's going to be that's next. We don't know the monetary, what they needed to pay to have the ice happen and whatever else. And let's say, and you can correct me on my numbers if I'm wrong, let's say between first-time people, just because it was the first time ever, and come to see the potential NHL draft pick people, let's say that's 25,000 people, which may be high. But let's say that's 25,000 people. That still gets you down to 50. There are college football programs that would kill for 50 on a Saturday in terms of attendance. So there's a part of me, too, that if Penn State wants to do this, they don't need – now, again, if you got 80 for the outdoor game with the NHL and you had more premium spaces sold, maybe that makes money. But it feels like it could make money without it. And then again, but maybe perhaps not as much as a concert, right? But that's why there's going to be stuff in the stadium. Because 50,000 people, even if you're doing it at the place where it's going to make you the least, is still making you good money.
So I think that's a good question, right? Or a good thing that I was thinking about is so I was thinking about that on Saturday. What is the take for the Bucks versus the Lightning versus the league on Saturday's event? So for example, on the boards on Saturday, in the rink, on Sunday, they were the national ads. So they were there were no local companies. The Lightning's public address announcer, their power plays are called Tico Power Plays, which is Tampa Electric Company. That was just, this is a Lightning power play, was the announcement. Those types of things. So I was wondering about that. But what I think about is, and this is some of the same factor that went into Saturday, is the exposure factor of this is, we have the NHL, a top 4 sports league, paying or putting on an event inside our stadium that, the Stadium Series game on Saturday or on Sunday was the most watched cable NHL broadcast ever in the States. You're not going to maybe necessarily get that because you're probably going to have Pittsburgh and Buffalo be the markets, or Philly and Buffalo be the markets. I don't think you're going to get the cross-state rivalry because Terry Pegula exists. But you're going to get 1.5 million. Yes, that's less than what you would get for a Penn State game. They get 6 million, but that's different because number one, those are on national. Number two, those are on number two, college football is the second most popular sport in this country. I think that's an important aspect. I will say, and this is where we can start to nitpick a little bit. I think above all, Penn State underestimated what it was either capable of or capable of that event being on Saturday. I think there were just things that didn't happen that I would have liked to see happen, like a specific promo or a pump up video for that moment. That type of little content things that go the extra mile. I know you had texted me during intermission that there wasn't really much going on during intermission, and that kind of frustrated you. I think that's fair. I understand why they didn't do it. It felt like a miss, though, not to have the band out there lining the tunnel as they walked out to the ice. It was cool that they had the cheerleaders out there doing that, but it would have been cool to really mimic the whole experience for a football run out, because that's the signature, or at least for me, that's one of the, if not the biggest moment to a Penn State football game.
Yeah, and I think the run out would have been cool. I thought the whole pregame floating lions talk about, I thought that was silly. I get what they're doing, but okay, feel free to adapt. We all know we're in the football stadium, but I know they aren't doing that. Just having them there was the magic trick for them, because the sound was different, right? It just carried, it made it better.
Yeah.
So the scoreboards were great. The video boards were great. The right images. It was the right split of stuff. That was good. Yeah, I think the underestimate thing and my nitpick and the thing I wrote was, okay, we dressed up all the football players with their uniform number on hockey uniforms, and we did that detail. But we didn't think about, I don't know, I didn't see a pitch from pucks. And again, there might have been pucks and they were gone in the bubble. The women played that night at 6. There was one little promo for them, maybe. Beat us over the head with it during those dead times. Men's and women's lacrosse were out there. Men's played the next day at home. It was a nice piece, but emphasize it more. I just, for as much as they talk about, and they have so many people to do that stuff, the sound is always an issue, right? That's when the stadium is finally renovated and you can do sound that works, that'll be great. I just felt it was if I'm grading it, it's a B. It's not a B minus, but it's not a B plus. It's just kind of like, it was really good, but it could have been better.
I think that's where I'm at with it too. I think the amount of investment that goes into the athletic department, but on top of that, the I don't know. I think they could have pushed the envelope in terms of marketing more. And I think they missed on that. I think the lead up in retrospect was a little quiet. And I thought that could have been a little stronger. I think the merchandise thing was a massive miss. Now, we were up in the club, so I didn't get to experience my usual game day and see if see if the huts were open, all the little huts that sell merch. But there was one stand up there. They barely had anything by the time we got in there. And we got in there early. We were at the bubble earlier in the day. And when we were at the bubble, there was a very small, no bigger than my office, which is about 10 by 10 of 3 little sides of merch that most of it was sold out completely by the time we got in there. And we got in there earlier in the day at 10:30, which was not super late.
And it was open Friday too, so maybe some went then.
Sure, but like, why wouldn't you anticipate have more stuff available and then sell it online later? You know?
That's fair.
And I think that was a big thing. I think I would have liked to see more of the celebration of Penn State football in that. As much as it was a Penn State hockey event, I think it would have been cool to homage to Penn State football, because that's kind of the whole reason to have this, right? It's like your two biggest or the two biggest things about the brand in a way, Penn State football and the football stadium kind of being used in this unique way. Let's celebrate and lead into that. I don't know. I just nitpicky things. We did find out blue hair guy whose first name is Rich. He couldn't get in on time, which we can have a discussion about that. I did appreciate and did find out that the Alumni Association is the ones that provides all those shakers, and they do that. I wish they, maybe not them, but maybe Penn State Athletics. Why couldn't we have ponied up and spent up for 75,000 people, like, to have a shaker? Like, just add more to those things. I don't know. Those are those thoughts. I do think the biggest miss, both by Penn State, but also by people that showed up late. To be fair, it was very cold. Not everybody is as deranged as me wanted to tailgate at 8 a.m. The fact that there were messes with the parking, like it sounded like coming up Porter Road was a.
They stopped at one point.
Yeah.
When we get in, and when I went up the south end zone all the way top to where we usually be, and looked out and saw the lines at, I don't know, 12:20, and saw the traffic stop. I'm like, oh, those people aren't making the puck drop. Like, you could just tell. And I feel for them a little, not a lot, because get your backside in there. But if everybody would have gotten in that early too, I think the swarm would have just been sooner.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they were ready for whether it's the scanning and the extra clothes. And the students had 2 scans that happened, both their ticket and their wristband. And I will, to the day I die, never understand why it's so hard to get students into the student section in that stadium. Give them a ticket, tell them to go in and pick a seat wherever they like, and go from there. Like, I somehow worked in the 80s. It just doesn't. I appreciate they'll spread out. And I think the crowd being spread out, like, I'll buy 74, 5, 9, whatever it was. At the same time, people bought 80,000 for Luke Combs, and it was 73 something else. So, like,
right.
But I'll play along with that number, because what the heck?
It looked
because it was spread out. You know.
But I will say, I mean, it looked pretty full. I think, I don't know. I think they could.
That just means they had 5,000 of walk up from early in the week at least, right? Unless they were, because they were saying 60, 65, 65,
maybe.
67.
Yeah.
So that just feels like a big walk up for as cold as it
I don't
was,
know.
unless they were low to begin with.
I mean, that's kind of what I think it was. I mean, the other thing that I think about is like in the underestimating, like, and some of this was really weather dependent. So I'm glad that they didn't do it, but it would have been the north end zone not being open. Like if the north end zone was open and they sold that, I wonder about the demand. Maybe not this time around, but maybe next time around seeing. But
yeah, the weather was a freak thing. And I get that. They had people up there and they moved those tickets. There were tickets sold up there and they moved them down. So kudos for that. Kudos for adapting and saying, hey, we're not going to send the people up there to work. It doesn't make sense. We got space down here. I had some people locally grumbling about low seats and people around them drinking. Like, hey, sorry. Like, have a brain when you pick the seats. Like, you can't be low because think about what a hockey rink looks like in the middle of a football field. And whether people drinking near you in the stadium where they sell alcohol now, yeah, probably. Like, don't know what to tell you. You know,
no,
so
I think that is the biggest thing about outdoor hockey games is if you give up sight lines the second you sit low compared to a football game.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why the baseball stadiums ones don't work as well.
Right, because everything's low.
Yeah, everything's super low there. Did we cover everything you wanted to cover there?
Yeah, I don't want to. I think it was an overall positive. I mean, I know it's nitpicking, but I don't want to keep piling on. So yeah, I think they did a good job. Thank the fans though. Thank the fans who turned out in that way, in those conditions, for this first everything. And kudos to the fans, loyal, crazy Penn State fans, gobbled up all the $100 parking passes, showed up in crazy conditions, used their heated vests and gloves and layers, and came out and supported the team. Kudos to them.
Heated vest, I need to put down a few layers. I had it up too high and couldn't
feel the heat.
Couldn't feel it.
Okay.
So that's a strategy change. I have to say though, I no offense to Ben, but I think the women's jerseys were better. Do you think that was my other?
You like that script though?
Yes, I like the italic. But I thought the thing on the shoulder that said "Fight on State" with the outline PA that was a good new something different. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I thought they had gone away from until I saw the players post game with their white Nike stuff. I thought they were avoiding Nike because the coaches' stuff was gray, but I didn't see a brand on it anywhere.
I was trying to figure that out as well.
Yeah, and I didn't. So I don't know whether they were, whatever. Maybe that was just the best gear they could get, and it doesn't really matter anymore. Especially for hockey, as much as it did for football or basketball, that it's Nike. But the players all had white Nike stuff on post game. So,
Dogs have thoughts about that as well. Okay, let's get briefly to the news. We're not going to dawdle on it because we don't really have that much information right now. We'll learn a little bit more. Gavin McKenna was charged with aggravated assault and some other lesser things after an incident on Saturday where he reportedly broke someone's jaw. We don't really know much, but it will be interesting to see how Guy Gadowski handles this because I can't think of a time where a Penn State hockey player was in the news while being a hockey player at Penn State was in the news this way. So that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective, I'm sure there's going to be some story out about why the kid, whatever their sides of the story are, and we get to that point, and why you're there to begin with at 18, and why someone didn't get you out of there and serve the situation. But from the media side and whatever, this is a first. To me, this is a first. These kids don't get in trouble publicly, and in the 7 or 8 or plus years that I've been dealing with them, we've never had to ask Guy about a discipline problem that became public. And, and especially with the most high-profile player on the roster, perhaps one of the most high-profile in college hockey. You know, the reason they had the outdoor game, you know, just all that stuff. Like it's,
No,
and it's the week that'll be the week going into their playing the number one team in the nation. So just a perfect PR mess.
Yeah, no, I think that's a PR mess is a good way to put it. I'm trying to think. I mean, Max Gardner was arrested. I don't know whatever truly came of it after the fact. I think he just pleaded down or whatever, and wasn't really that detrimental for an incident out in Arizona. But he was a former player at the time. That's the only one I can think of. I remember a couple times players getting suspended for team discipline things, but not like anything that ever saw the quote unquote light of day in terms of.
Right. I mean, it could have been something that had a report with it somewhere, although anymore the kids would have seen it even then
Right.
at the local media, the student media. So no, it's going to be a first. It's going to be a distraction. It's going to be whether or not the kid comes back affect you on the ice. And if the kid comes back, it's still going to affect you on the ice because then you've got opposing fans offering their opinion during the game.
Correct. No, I think that's an apt way to put it. Okay. The 2026 Penn State football schedule is finally here. And there was already one amendment to the 2026 Penn State football.
A good amendment, by the way.
You texted me. You seem to be very intrigued and potentially.
I haven't pitched it to Susan yet. Well, I've got to make up for my Illinois night game mistake from several years ago.
Oh, that's right.
And Chicago's a great town, right? You get a flight out the day of the game early, enjoy the town, maybe come back Sunday. You get all day Saturday in the city on early October. The tougher part of this game, maybe we'll be getting a ticket.
I think
because
so
it's
too.
the first game of the state. Like I think that's the toughest part of this assignment would be getting a ticket, right? And I wouldn't want to make the investment and not have a ticket. And we'll see. Or maybe that would take it off my list. But
no, but that's
Friday night games.
I think that is above all the biggest news of the schedule. We of course knew the opponents, but I'll briefly quickly run through them here. In terms of the order, so it's Marshall at Temple, Buffalo, then opening Big Ten at home with Wisconsin.
There you go, Pat Kraft.
At Northwestern on a Friday night. That will be the first game in the new Ryan Field. They have a couple home games before that, but they're going to play those over at the Lake still. Which it is a shame that we can't find a way to build a bigger stadium around that lake, because that would be a cool view to have all the time. USC will be at home on 10-10, and that will more than likely be your whiteout. At Michigan, Purdue, at Washington. Most people are relatively a little upset about that because it's just a little bit later than they wanted in terms of that Washington/Seattle weather. Minnesota, Rutgers, and then closing the season at Maryland. As it's always kind of been a very favorable schedule. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, the toughest stretch is that 2-game stretch there in October between USC and Michigan. And I think Northwestern's going to be a tougher out than other years. I think those are my hot takes or hot opinions on the schedule. I think the bigger, more interesting part of the schedule being released was how the schedule was released by Penn State in multiple ways. Number one, they did a teaser to the schedule where they had the players draw the opponent's mascots, which I thought they set this up great. I thought this was great. So they did that, and then the next day, when the schedule was out, they showed a video, which I'm assuming that students were 100% sober for during the taking of that video, where they were asked to identify what the opponent was, a la Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans, the godfather of schedule release videos.
Yeah. And above all of that was posted to the Penn State football Twitter, which is probably the first time in 13 years, that a Penn State game after the next game, first upcoming game in the season, has been posted that early. Because James Franklin was very freaky about that. I think that was the interesting thing. I think we are seeing a new side of Penn State social media between that, the Rocco Becht video,
which was very good.
Well, yes, the Rocco video was very good. Even the video / moment that was shown in the stadium as well of the offensive line coach and offensive coordinator drinking some beers after one of the goals in the stadium. I just think we're seeing like a different side that I think is noticeable to Penn State.
I think that's fair. And I think it's been top down, and I think people are unfairly making it seem like that started with James. It was top down from when time Joe was here. Like Joe picked who was on the cover of the Beaver Stadium pictorial, and if they weren't having a good season, he didn't want them on the cover. They weren't there, and that could change in the middle of the season. So it's always been top down and pretty tight fisted and buttoned down from the Penn State side of all communications. The change has been noticeable in the past few weeks, and I don't think that's a bad thing. And the schedule release, I think if they'd have done anything less creative after the conference had postponed everybody, and I didn't look around what everybody else did, but that's what you expect now, right? I mean, we've now gone from the Tennessee Titans to other teams in the league to trickle down to now college, because that's what people expect on social media to happen. The only thing I had with the schedule is now that it's out, people are like, oh, this schedule is so favorable. Well, no shit, it was favorable when they announced the opponents 6 months ago. Like, I think that part of the media is lazy, and I guess maybe this is just when the window is to actually talk about it, but this schedule has been favorable from when it was announced. I mean, when you knew who the home and aways were, you don't have Ohio State, you're only going to Michigan, it was favorable always. So it's interesting to me that it's become a story in, some places now as opposed to before.
Well, I think in particular what's fascinating about that is there was to your point, like, and maybe it's because we have it on our blog and it is a page that generally does very well for us, but there was just like this lack of acknowledgement that, to your point, the opponents had been set. The opponents are set through 2028. And this was a point of conversation about right around the time that James Franklin was getting fired was, well, do you keep him around because you're going to be able to rebuild next year because you have this easier schedule? So that was an aspect to this. And then it was weird because then I saw a couple posts, and I'm just going to call it one of them, Joel Klatz, that was like...
That's where I was going, yeah.
That was like, why didn't more coaches want this gig? Because of how favorable this schedule was. Again, this has all been public information we have had on our blog literally since day one.
The university's had on its site, like that mix of message, like, why didn't more coaches want this job? Well, that may go to the fact that the job search wasn't really done well. Like, that may be a different story. But yeah, like that whole, oh my gosh, look how easy the schedule is. It's been easy since the league announced it. Yeah. It just has. So that, I get it. That's where it fits in your ability to talk about it. And that's not a bad thing. That's just where it hits. But it's been easy since it was announced. Seemingly easy. I don't know if it's easy.
No, I don't know. Northwestern was a team that Penn State lost last year too. And they were.
We are now in the land of rainbows and unicorns because we had there was media day for the coach, and every position group sounds pretty good, and we're confident about what's going on. And if he'd have been sitting down and bald, it would have been like, this sounds very familiar. So,
Steve, I want to thank you for being here today.
I got the message.
I will say, I texted you today during the Matt Campbell press conference. This is what we're talking about. He does seem very normal. Like he doesn't seem.
Oh, I don't think he's putting on anything. But I don't know that. Yeah.
It felt like there was a not higher level of thinking, but a calculated level of thinking every time James Franklin spoke. Matt Campbell was just kind of up there talking.
Yeah, no, I think James was always worried about who was hearing what he was saying.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think Matt was just talking. Trying to be himself. I'm sure they told him that, again, like, oh, you're saying their name, you're not expecting me to remember that. I mean, just kind of like there was a little bit of banter, there was a little bit of whatever. So, yeah, clearly the change has happened, and it is different.
You are in 100% agreement that USC should be the whiteout and nothing else really.
Should have announced it when they announced the schedule.
I actually kind of agree with you.
Just own the event and say this is own the event. Like it yes. Yeah. We've talked about this. Call the whiteout your event, own it, and plan from now until then about how to make the whiteout super special. If it ends up in the afternoon, make sure you got blinking lights available for the fans that are white, or do something on their phones. But it's your event. Don't be held hostage by the TV networks. I know it looks better on TV at night. I get it, but own the event.
I mean, I haven't compared the schedule, but I would imagine that a West Coast team coming east generally bodes well for a night game. Although
not as many as we thought, though. West Coast teams got handed some noon games in the past couple of years. I think what bodes well is Indiana being good.
What's that?
I mean, Indiana being good bodes well for Penn State in the future in noon games, because there's another good team that draws ratings that has a big alumni group that might get a big noon kickoff because they're the defending national champion, as opposed to Penn State.
No, I think that's a good point. It's a very good point. Okay, can we? You brought something up. I wanna go back to outdoor hockey. I texted you. You seem super excited, super impressed that Raymond James Stadium's lights can not only go on and off, but can also change colors. Right? You were excited about
2027. They'll be happening at Beaver Stadium too, I'm sure.
The other thing that was pretty cool that they were able to do, they put up QR codes, which means that they have good enough Wi-Fi and internet there, which you are in a major city. But they put up QR codes, and one of the things that it would do when you put up this one QR code, it made your cell phone light flash on and off, and it like rhythmically. And I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Didn't Penn State try something? They had to download something like 3 years ago when they tried to do that once, right?
Yeah, but nobody can download anything because there's no internet.
Would you rather have, when the stadium is completed, would you rather have the ability to the blinking, changing light colors, or actually good sound throughout the stadium from the public address announcer? Wow, that pause is way too long. Holy cow, never mind.
I think I want.
You have never known good sound in your lifetime, so okay. Wow, okay.
Because to your point, the sound in Beaver Stadium has never been good. Like
and it was really noticeable. Yes, it was really noticeable in hockey, just because everything's coming out that same end and nobody's up in the north end. It just,
It seemed. Was it quiet? Like I couldn't tell because we were up there. So but it seemed quiet in general.
It was quiet. Like you couldn't hear the goal horn for sure. But some of the announcements and music were louder than Rodney, the PA announcer, right? And they stepped on each other a couple times. Those kind of things were nitpicky too. But yeah, it's just, I think pre-recorded things sometimes sound louder than live things. It's just always been a challenge in there. So they are, and I think dealing with that problem, they've kind of got one arm tied behind their back with that situation as it is. So I understand that too. But yeah, no, I'm counting down the days for the blinky lights. Got a season, one football season is it. Get through this one in 2027. We'll have them probably. First touchdown, the lights will go dark. They'll flash all over the place. People will be excited. It'll be like a touchdown has never been scored ever in that stadium before because it'll be so exciting.
I think it would be exciting.
I know. That's why I'm old. I just want him to hand the football to the referee.
Just play football.
Exactly.
Okay. Did we cover off everything there? Did we?
I am now in anticipation that it's cookie time, right?
It is cookie time. So, for those of you that don't know, I paid $29 to buy 6 of Cael Sanderson's cookies. What is special about these cookies? Which, if you're not watching, you should be watching on YouTube as I get one of these cookies out. What is special about these cookies? I have no clue.
Is it a thick wrapper? It looks thick.
It's a thick wrapper. I would say it is about a half an inch thickness of the cookie. Itself? Okay. It's not a small cookie. It is superfood infused. There are 9 grams of protein. It is a chocolate chip sport cookie. Not sure what that means. And it is manufactured for Undefeated Sports Nutrition LLC, State College, PA. Would you like me to read some of the ingredients and or calorie information?
There shouldn't be that many ingredients if it's healthy, right?
There's kind of a lot of ingredients. It is made with kamut flour. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correct. Some type of sugar. Chocolate chips. They are semi-sweet chocolate chips. Almond butter. Agave syrup. Coconut oil. Almost all of these are organic, by the way. Palm oil shortening. There's pea protein in this. Water. Brown rice syrup. Ground flaxseed. Baking soda. Baking powder. Sea salt. Vanilla extract. And barley grass powder. It is... Do you want to guess how many calories this cookie is?
160.
Nope. Not even close. 420.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I will say there was one thing
guess
that gave me
a regular cookie's probably crazy. Yeah.
one thing that did give me mild pause on this supposedly healthy cookie. This one cookie is 50% of my daily saturated fats and 58% of my daily sugar. I've been going daily over my sugar limit forever, but just something to call out. At this point in the episode,
have to go work out after this.
Yeah, at this point in the episode, which it does not promise any energy or anything like that. It just says it's a filling cookie on the website. Cael sends these little notes with it. It says, I originally created this cookie years ago because I wanted something simple and honest to eat around training. Something that tasted good, used real ingredients, and didn't feel like a compromise over time. That's a weird period in this. Nobody edited this. People keep asking about it. And I realized it was worth bringing it back the right way. This cookie is fuel you can trust and enjoy. I appreciate you giving it a shot and supporting what we're building. Thanks for being part of the comeback. Signed, Cael Sanderson. I don't think that's what his signature looks like. I also have a code for 10% off.
Is the signature a different color than the ink on the letter at least?
No, it's also black. So at this point, I am now opening the cookie. We're doing cookie ASMR. The cookie is not easy to open. At this point, we might be getting scissors for the cookie. Do not let your elder parents open the cookie. Okay, here we go.
They won't be able to, apparently.
I am now showing.
You're supposed to like ruffle the wrapper by the microphone. It looks good.
It's again. I would say
big chunks of chocolate.
Probably about half my face, maybe a third of my face big. Roughly. Is
it soft or is it hard?
It is. It feels soft. I'm breaking the cookie apart now.
Okay. It's not like chewy, but it didn't crumble all off.
I will say it does have an oddly, and this might be the pea protein in it. It's like green? It's like if you were trying to color the color of a cookie with a crayon, and it's not exact. It doesn't look exactly right. It mildly looks green.
Okay. There's a piece of I-70 that Susan tells me is green when we drive down to down your way, and I think she's crazy, but then again, sometimes maybe it is a little green.
I mean, the roads over by Hershey are chocolate colored. Okay,
that's true. Okay, that's the taste. We will
now take a bite of the cookie.
Dense, looks dense.
It's dense. It's very dense. It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
It's very salty.
Okay.
It's very soft. The chocolate is good. It does taste like it's made with organic stuff, though. It doesn't. It tastes good for me. It doesn't taste bad for me, and I want a cookie to taste bad for me.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, but you went undefeated in college and got 11 national championships to your credit. So
I'm gonna say.
This is our one bite cookie review. We're stealing that stick.
Maybe.
No, it was 2 bites.
That was 2 bites. I'm gonna say on a scale of 5, a 4.09. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
You worked.
I will say, like, this is not bad. I don't know if these are worth $29 for a 6-pack of them. I hope that I can win an NCAA wrestling title.
I'm just hoping you can get titles. You can get tickets to Northwestern football game after doing this.
They're okay. This is a good cookie.
Oh, there we go. And you're not a milk and cookies guy, so
not a milk and cookies guy.
You're gonna just enjoy the taste of it. Okay. Wow, that's a first of the podcast. Our first live food rating segment thing.
This is not a sponsorship, but I would buy more of these cookies.
Let me ask this. Well, it may be moot because of dietary stuff. Will you share any of this with anybody else in your household?
I will.
Okay.
I will.
It's good enough, but not so good that you're going to keep it all to yourself. So good that you want to share it. In fact,
it's because there are 6 of them.
No, I meant that specific cookie that you opened up. Are you going to share that one at all?
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
My biggest, what it's missing is just like I can taste
Sugar.
that. It's 59% of my daily sugar in it.
Okay.
I think it's missing like. I kind of want this a warm cookie. I might go warm one of these up after this.
Is there a chocolate chip cookie that it reminds you of?
No, because it's not. It's more grocery store cookie than it is West Commons cookie, right? Like,
okay, that's a fair point.
Like a Costco cookie. Like I would put this on par with a Costco cookie. Something that's a little bit thicker, a little more produced, as opposed to like a West cookie where they maybe put the dough in the oven for 2 minutes, if that.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, good to know.
Okay.
Thanks for that. That's great.
I will now go win a wrestling national title.
I think if you watch the match Friday night, you're covered. I think that's all you've got to do.
I don't like the logo. That's my main gripe. The logo, if you haven't seen the logo kind of, it's supposed to be a cookie on top of the trophy. It looks like pickleball. That's my only gripe with it.
Oh, that's fair.
So, those are Cael Sanderson's cookies. I'm glad we finally reviewed those.
Thanks to Undefeated Sports Nutrition.
The chocolate's
still
very
doesn't have
gooey.
its website up yet. I fear that maybe you're one of the few people buying the cookies because they have a Facebook page, but the website isn't up and working yet.
Oh, it's no longer working? I mean, it was as I ordered them off the website. The
Sports cookie website is coming soon.
I think it's just caelscookies.com. Yeah, Cael's cookie. Oh, there's a wait list. Yeah, there is a wait list. You can buy a t-shirt.
The most in-demand cookie in sports nutrition. There we go. Never mind. Oh, it comes with a t-shirt too.
I'm going to be honest.
T-shirts.
All things considered, for the fact that he's a wrestling coach, guy can make a good cookie. We will give Cael some props there.
Do you think he was down there mixing the batter, you mean?
I mean, I feel confident and trustworthy in the selling that I'm getting, that he was involved in this process and did not. It's not a bad cookie. Okay. That's this week's podcast, where we discuss cookies and hockey and other things. I don't know. We might record next week. Oh, we will record next week because Sunday's the Super Bowl. We did not do a Super Bowl preview extravaganza because you had an outdoor post-game extravaganza.
It was better than that. Nobody's coming to us for that preview anyway, so we're good.
So, but we will talk about the Super Bowl and all of the typical facets that we talk about it. Might write something this week. Might write about the cookie, honestly. I see if I can get more cookies out of writing about the cookies.
Got a new flavor coming this month, apparently, so you better get this one done.
I don't know that I want a new flavor. Like, I think
I'm just saying we might have another review coming.
Okay. So
maybe I'll have to handle that one, so you don't have to. Although I we'll see. Okay, go ahead, keep on.
Okay, yeah, I was like, if you want to order the cookie, that's actually
maybe I'll do the next batch.
If it's because that like.
Unless it's like oatmeal raisin, then no way.
Okay, so it's an important point here. Like, I ordered this cookie in part because it was not oatmeal raisin. There is no oatmeal in this cookie. I don't think oatmeal belongs in cookies.
And it may not in a healthy cookie, honestly.
Correct. Would there be I think a sugar cookie is the only other thing that I would be like looking for. Maybe
there's
a peanut butter cookie.
There's no possible way that a healthy cookie could be we'll see what this next flavor is. I'll order it, but there is really only one reason to make cookies and one kind of cookie you should eat, and it is chocolate chip. But for the purposes and the integrity of the show, I would be willing to see what comes out here in February from them and order it and trade reviews. So we'll see.
This is really important journalism that we're doing.
Maybe I'll trade you a cookie then so I get one chocolate chip cookie out of the mix when we're all done.
Yeah, I'll trade you one.
Okay, keep finishing up.
I'm gonna be honest. I really like this cookie. So there's the cookies that we talked about. There's might be something on the blog this week. There is our podcast, which you listen to. If you could give us 5 stars and thumbs up, we'd really appreciate that. We've got a website. It's called stuffsummersays.com. On that website, there's a section called With
Steve,
it was wonderful to see you and Russ and Terry and Susan.
Great hospitality. You guys did a heck of a job.
We don't mess around.
I know you got 30% of the credit for it, but
yeah, thank you.
Everybody else, you did a heck of a job.
Yeah. Thank you. And we got that. We have emails. Mine's Darian at stuffsummersays.com. Steve's is
Steve at stuffsummersays.com.
perfect. Lastly, you can find me on the internet at Stuff Summer Says. You can find Steve
At Steve Samsel.
Kooky.